Now you may say that it is all well and good to announce such a clear and precise account of God, a greater absolute consciousness as being so. But how can we actually verify my response here as being accurate, or even true to how it actually is? Quite simply, is what I say true or false? Because at the end of the day, no matter what we think or believe, it's either there or it isn't. Well, fortunately in my favour, there just happened to be a TV series hosted on ABC's spiritual show Compass called Brain Story that conducted an experiment which in the end gave a very surprising and insightful outcome in regards to the spiritualist perspective to consciousness and reality. Although the production was heavily based on the materialist perspective to reality, I still believe it is an important point to raise here, which strangely enough was overlooked by the professor hosting the show. In the first segment of the program, there was an experiment carried out on a lady having brain surgery at the time. Her skull cap was removed and she was fully conscious during the surgery. In the experiment, the patient was asked to count up to 10 starting from 1, so she counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When she got to 5, the surgeon then placed an electrical current through her brain from a small pencil-like probe placed directly on her exposed tissue, and she went into a murmur of inactivity. After a second or two, the surgeon then removed the probe from her brain and she continued to count from where she left off, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The patient even had a little laugh to herself when she finished counting. After her surgery was complete, the professor conducting the experiment took the patient aside and quietly asked her, "What did you experience when we stunned your brain?" Remarkably, the lady said, "I was aware that I could not count." Now this raises the question, if her brain flow was rendered inactive during the probing, then from where was she still conscious there and then? Now some scientists may argue that only parts of her brain were rendered inactive, but if you look into the scientific field of quantum physics, it very much testifies to what the patient experienced. That consciousness is deeper and subjective, behind and beyond brain activity. The physical brain is merely the personal interface between subjectivity and objectivity. Just as a radio focuses radio waves for its function, so too does the brain focus consciousness for individual function. So is consciousness really a product of the brain as the materialists out there pertain to? Or is consciousness something more elusive and boundless? In essence, that is. However, we don't even need to take such extreme methods of experimentation of prodding someone's brain to hopefully unlock the secrets about consciousness. We can discover the secrets for ourselves, personally and directly. If we have the insight and introspection to do so, we can place our attention back into our centre of observation and just notice how there is a distinction between our subjective centre and all the mind stuff of thoughts and ideas going on in the objective mind. The very fact that you can observe a thought passing through your mind verifies observation takes place behind and beyond the mind. This is just another very real and everyday experiential example of how consciousness, subjectivity, is deeper, behind and beyond the brain, and the mind for that matter. I've always called quantum physics mystic science because from a mystic point of view, this area of science is the closest we get to verifying the existence of God. As complex as this area of science is to grasp, and given that there are a few main theories to quantum mechanics, the theory I like best, and the one I believe to be the most accurate, is the one given by the brilliant physicist David Bohm. According to Bohm, all reality is generated by an all-pervasive, absolute consciousness that sustains everything. To use Bohm's words, at the fundamental level of reality, consciousness is non-local. In other words, consciousness is impersonal in essence, and in the greater scheme of things. And this perspective of Bohm's complements and fits in very nicely with both Eastern and Western spiritual and mystic traditions. And it is the one I believe to be the most accurate in terms of what is true about reality and ultimate reality. As it is written in the book of Acts, "For in that we live and move and have our being."